You know what families miss when it comes to long-term care? It's not the cost. It's the clock. They wait until a crisis hits and suddenly they're paying more, arguing more, and sleeping less. So if you stick around just a few minutes, I'll show you a simple checklist that can help you plan before things get messy and potentially save you thousands of dollars in the process. Whether you're caring for an aging parent or thinking ahead for yourself, this is your step-by-step map to protect your family, your savings, and your sanity. Let's walk through this together, and by the end, you'll know exactly what to do next. If you're in your 40s or in your 50s, you're kind of caught in that middle lane, helping out parents while still planning for your own career. And somewhere between kids' tuition, your parents' doctor's visits, and your own career, the thought of long-term care feels like a problem it's for later. But here's the thing, later comes faster than you think. Kind of like Tetris, the higher the blocks get, the faster they seem to fall. Families who plan ahead aren't just saving dollars, they're saving decisions, energy, and relationships that could otherwise crack under pressure. That's why I use this checklist to help you move from guessing to knowing what steps to take before the crisis ever hits. See, here's the truth. Most families don't plan for long-term care because it feels too far away until suddenly it's right now. A parent falls, a diagnosis lands, or someone finally realizes the house isn't safe anymore and now everything's urgent. In those moments, you don't get to shop calmly, compare options. You react, and reacting usually costs more in every sense. I've seen families drain accounts or sell investments just to cover a few months of care they never saw coming. Even worse is, decisions get rushed. One sibling says, just pick a place. The other says, I'm just not sure mom's ready. And the tension replaces teamwork overnight. That's why this conversation matters now. Planning early isn't morbid, it's merciful. It's how you protect your choices, your relationship, and financial breathing room later on. Think about it for just a second. What would your plan look like if something changed tomorrow? Would everyone know what to do? Or who decides what? The checklist I use breaks long-term care planning into clear areas, starting with your own needs, your coverage, funding, policy design, taxes, and a few other details just to kind of round things out for you. Begin with what kind of care you might need someday. Look honestly at your health, your family support, and how long you want to stay at home. Ask yourself this: who could help me? How long could they keep it up? Being real about this shapes every choice later on. Think about timing. The longer you wait, the fewer choices you're going to have. Age and health drive eligibility and cost. Next, decide what kind of care you want covered. Home care, assisted living, nursing care, or kind of a mix of those that best fits your lifestyle. Most policies activate when you can't manage 2 daily tasks like bathing or dressing, or when cognitive decline sets in. Be sure to review what's excluded too. Some plans pay for family caregivers or training. Others don't. Small print here matters. Here's a quick question for you. When you think about long-term care, what's your biggest concern? Is it cost, control, or just becoming a burden? Drop it down in the comments. I read every one. Now, look at how you'd pay. Can you self-fund? Use an HSA? Maybe purchase coverage that fits within your budget and cash flow? Couples often explore shared benefit policies. They let one spouse use leftover benefits from the other. Think of it as flexibility without the double premiums. And remember, some states reward planning like tax breaks or partnership programs that protect assets if Medicaid is ever needed. Keep in mind, every policy has its own moving part: benefit amounts, elimination periods, inflation riders. The right mix keeps coverage balanced and affordable. Before you commit, check the insurer's record for premium hikes and service. Keep in mind, you're buying a promise that could last decades. If you're going to fund care from savings or retirement accounts, plan for taxes first. Withdrawals can trigger income or capital gains taxes. You might explore hybrid policies like annuity riders or even a 1035 exchange from an old insurance policy to fund care tax-free. Finally, gather your medical history early. Honest, complete records, smooth underwriting, and keep your options open if you apply later. Hey, I know this can feel heavy. Every family I meet with says the same thing. They meant to plan, they just didn't know where to start. And that's why this next part matters. So how do you actually use this checklist? Well, it's not a form to file away. It's a planning map you can walk through step by step. Start with the questions that hit home first. Maybe it's about your parents. Maybe it's about your own coverage. Wherever tension lives, begin there. If a section feels overwhelming, good. It's a sign that it matters. You don't have to tackle it all today. Awareness is your first win. I walk families through this one page at a time, turning "I think we should" into "here's what we're going to do next." That clarity alone lowers stress. You'll notice the checklist doesn't push products or numbers. It pushes questions, the ones most people skip until it's too late. Use it to spark real conversations with your spouse, your parents, or your adult children. Those talks now prevent panic later on. And if you already own a long-term care policy, this still matters. It helps you verify whether your plan still fits your current life. Think of this kind of like a financial fire drill. You hope you never have to need it, but practice now keeps everyone calmer when the alarm does go off. Once you've checked a few boxes, patterns start to appear, gaps, overlaps, or what I call assumed coverage that doesn't really exist. And that's where a good advisor comes in. My job is to translate your checklist into an action plan that protects both care and cash flow. Together, we'll review what health insurance covers, what it doesn't, and where long-term care insurance or smart savings can fill in the gap. We'll also look at timing. Buying too early wastes years of premium. Waiting too long risks denial. There's a planning window out there, and my guess is you're probably in it. If you're married, we'll compare individual versus shared benefits. For single adults, we'll focus on flexibility where independence and affordability meet. And because costs, they vary widely, I'll show you real local numbers. Home care, assisted living, nursing care in your area. That context transforms abstract fear into concrete math, the kind that leads to calm, confident choices instead of late night worry. You can download the same checklist I use. It's linked below. Walk through it on your own or schedule a time and we'll go through it together. Hey, if you've watched this far, you already care enough to plan ahead, and that sets you ahead of almost 90% of the families out there who wait. Take that momentum, use the checklist, and if you want a second set of eyes on it, I'm more than happy to be that guide. Long-term care isn't about predicting the future, it's about preparing for it. The difference is planning on your terms, not someone else's. Most people think it's about finding the right policy, but here's the truth. It's all about process, not a product. That's been my philosophy for over 25 years now. Process builds confidence, products follow. When you follow a process, you stay in control. You understand your needs, your options, and how each choice affects your family. And that's what this checklist gives you, a calm, repeatable system to help you make smart decisions long before they're ever forced on you. So if you haven't done it yet, download your copy of my long-term care planning checklist using the link below. And if you'd like someone to walk through it with you line by line, question by question, use the link below to schedule a strategy session with me. Together, we'll map out coverage that makes sense, what to self-fund, what to protect, so you can plan confidently, not reactively. Because the real goal here isn't to buy insurance, it's to buy time, clarity, and peace of mind for the people that you love. I'm Tim Gardner with Chatham Wealth Management. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.